Hello. Hi, Logan. And oh, this is not actually showing my chat. Hi, Tankish. Hello, hyperactive freak. Okay, this is loud. Okay, okay. Let me go and see what I can do here. Oh, hi, Madeline. Just popping in for a bit. That's fine. Okay, I need to go. I I had a problem today getting started. Is so I had been trying out Meld, and it was not. Meld has a problem where it won't let me send different resolutions to YouTube and Twitch, which I is something that I want to do. So that's but then I fire up OBS, and OBS has like this weird line overlay over everything, and over my second screen, and I don't know what's going on. Hi, Juno. Yeah, it's just so I can't use OBS. Meld doesn't do what I want it to do. I need to figure out what's going on. Can I edit? I think I can edit. Okay, these preferences are locked. So basically, I can only stream to YouTube right now. But thing is, basically nobody watches on Twitch. So I can also, I don't know why. I don't know. I think I'm going to hide this because it doesn't do anything for me. It hides it both. Okay. Anyway, let's do some romanization. Shall we? So I'm going to pull up my notes for Sylvan first. There we go. And what my camera needs to be in a slightly different place if I can get that rotated. I'm just having lots of technical problems. I'm also not using my phone as a camera anymore because I have found I had problems with that. So let's see. So, something I found out. Now, I went back and did some analysis. And let me see if I can show you. No, I don't want that. I want the other profile. I want Conlery profile. Hey, why are you doing this? Okay. Lexergy should be pinned. Basically, what I discovered. Oh wow, we got a lot of people today. What the thing that I discovered was that these long vowels, these are not phonemic the way I thought. Let's and I thought, oh, I had it. I actually had see if I can pull up the other profile, and then I think I might have that Lexergy. But the thing that I discovered is that these long vowels are restricted. They occur at the end of a word if the final syllable is open and stressed. And I need to figure out, yeah, if the final syllable is stressed due to consonant deletion. And that is the only place they appear. Excuse me. Why can I not talk? I need a cough switch. And if I can pull things up, I might be able to show you guys. Hold on. I know where I need to go. I'm not totally awake right now. Okay. Let's see. So I need my dawn, the latest dawn, and put that in. And good God, where is Middle Fay? Middle Fay. You know what? Let's just generate a bunch of words. And we want to all of these sites could use and let's actually just randomly add a few. What? Grab some words and it should show this. Okay. So when we have, oh, it is still phonemic. It's restricted, but it's still phonemic. Let's catch up. Yeah, Maddie. Yeah, everybody's saying hi to Maddie. Let me look at. Yeah. Well, it's still like that. Somebody is making noise. Why did OBS load? Launch. That's not something I want to do. Okay. So it is still phonemic. The other thing that I found out was let's find an example. That's not, oh, because I'm trying to pull up Obsidian and it pulls up OBS instead. Here we go. Now, I'm also having issues with Obsidian that I don't know. Every time I want to click on one of those etymology links, it decides it needs to so if we have this, hey, did it not copy? What? Why won't you copy? Okay. Is this a OBS? Is this an Obsidian thing that it just won't copy? Oh my. No, it's not. Control V is not working. Nope, the paste is not working. I can't paste into Lexigy. Oh, it's a stupid export screen. There we go. Yeah, I really, yeah, thanks, Nemo. It's really annoying. So, so what I'm looking for is this, and I actually did modify this, the diphthong simplification, because I found out that like if you trace this one, you actually, let's see, where is the diphthong simplification? Does it even get to it? It doesn't even do anything there, because before it would get there, you have the vowel raising rule gets that, and then yeah, final constant deletion. It's just for some reason it's actually super rare for these rules to apply. It is technically possible. Zinniop, I am on a Windows machine. Okay. But so it's, if I try to force the distinction, you can see here, like if I have to do something weird, like I have to have like something that's in the middle here. Put up class suffix. Oh, no, I need to actually do that. I need to take that through all of the stages. That won't even work. Oh, see, it's just very hard to contrive a way for a long vowel to survive unless that's weird. That shouldn't happen. Yeah, even trying to make it happen like results in weird things that shouldn't happen. So um but yeah, it's so I do need long vowels still. I do need to have some kind of a mark for long vowels, but it, unless I add some change to dawn that makes them go away. I what do you got? You made those? That's super cool. I'm making Mama's house. Oh, you did? Okay. You go on upstairs. Maggie, get out of the way. Okay. You need to go. You need to go upstairs, okay? I love you. You take mommy's phone back upstairs. Dorothy? Dorothy? Daddy's streaming. Daddy's got to do stuff, okay? Dorothy?
What is this?
You're on the rug. Okay. I just have to. Okay. I'll just have to work with that. The other thing is, so for dusk, we'll deal with that for in a little bit. Dusk is different. Dusk, if I have this correct, and we can duplicate the tab. And you can find the latest dusk. The thing with dusk is the way I worked it, I never actually have long vowels. My kids are not, well, she's well behaved right now, but not always. It seems that dusk never actually gets long vowels, or it has long vowels, but or it has long vowels in the chain here, but they eventually go away. So we can work with that. And the thing that I have decided is um, we're just going to do a romanization that works for the Twilight dialects, just for dawn and dusk right now. And because, like, these are the ones we're focusing on. Dawn will be, like, super complicated to do, but, like, rolling a whole new romanization for that is fine. And night, the big thing about night is it doesn't have tone. So I have more freedom to use diacritics and such there. So let's work with it. And I realize I just now saw that I misspelled romanization there. So let's copy. And we could and I one thing I'm going to say, I don't necessarily like the thing that David does where let's go ahead and get rid of this. Where he'll work the language so that the romanization works because it feels like cheating. But I may have to cheat a little bit here. So with this understanding now, the dusk is very easy. So I can go E and not U. Right? This is just eh. This is just ah. This one will be O. And we're good, right? I mean, this is just, we have different styles. Now, I need to figure out how do I ever do we now I need to figure out what even happens here before I believe I have to reconstruct what I did before. So if we have a root that has like is that what would be? Yeah, 2v. And if we trace that, this was another thing that I failed to actually note down. You'll see this is different. The thing is, the vowel raising yeah, well, you can see it with this one. Any instance of will just not happen because the vowel raising turns that into e. So that is another place where we're saved a little bit. But it does mean we can get a long e. Okay? Now, this one, can that still happen? So vowel fronting happens here. Vowel fronting happens right after vowel raising. And any non-low non-low tongue height, tongue root becomes tongue height for a vowel. And then any labial plus tongue root plus that's not tongue thrust becomes tongue thrust. So these have to be tense vowels. This has to be a tense vowel. This has to be a tense vowel. Do I still have my lax vowels? is the question. Let me look at my thing. What is the phonology of middle fei has this or, right? Let's just make up a word that has that just to see what happens to it. Let's put it in a couple different places, actually. Let's try that. Oh, what? Oh, I don't have R's. Do I? Tovo. Okay, so that can still make it. It can also become long. How do we have that? How do we have that in the first place? So what becomes an aw? Oh. So if we have a but, yeah, but, if we had that, it's only going to occur in a very specific scenario. Whoa. Okay. But, yeah. So, okay. So we can still have this, and it can be long. It could also be if we have like uh, bot sa, bot sai. Okay. No, that's me being dumb. Bot sai. No, can the proto have geminates? I don't think the proto has geminates. I think. Let's say bo. Kra. Let's try that. Bo. I have R's, don't I? Oh, that's my R. That's because it's that. That's what my R is. Bokra. Okay. Boskra. Okay, it's real hard to get that not at the end of a word because the syllabication is just that complicated. But it can occur at the end of a word. It's like we've got all these distinctions that are happening just at the end. So we need this. to be like an O. Can we please? This needs to be that. And then this doesn't actually happen because of vowel raising. But this one, I think, if we take another look at our fronting rule, so let's see how fronting works. Okay, so fronting requires it to be tense. That's a lax vowel that would never get fronted. So I think we actually don't have this. And then this ash, so there's an edge case where we can get the ash. There's a yeah. Okay, people not Nemo, just coming back to your comment. There's a lot of things that David does that I will do, that I do like. But like, we do have differences of opinion on some things. Okay. Yeah, how do I get ash again? Is I think I have to have a situation where so like get something. There we go. You have to have and then va. There we go. We got an ash. So you can have an ash in the output. You can have an aw in the output. Those mid-rounded vowels I don't think need to happen. And if that is the case, yeah. If that is the case, then we could have an E. So we have two different options. We have E, the umlaut, or the Y for these ones, since they don't actually have. But like looking to the future, day, I think day doesn't have it, but dusk, not but night does actually have that, and I'm pretty sure that it's fully just there. Yeah. All right. I need to drink water so that you don't get nasty mouse clicks. I'm not worried about the long vowels in dusk so much because since we don't have tone, we can probably use macrons. So my question is, focusing on dawn and dusk, do we want to use the U umlaut? Now, you might be thinking, oh, these have tone, which I'm going to mark with acute and grave accents, right? I gotta allow, do that. What? Why is it not? That works. What happened? What? Let me look this up. Could have sworn. Surely acute accent is just an apostrophe, right? Why is it refusing to type it? It's what? Am I misreading this? What character is this? Does it have to be a It has to be a straight. Oh, that's so dumb. Does anyone know how to disable Word from turning that into a single quote? Hey Caleb, how you doing? I've never run into this problem before. Oh gosh, that's so weird. So what's happening is my apostrophe is automatically being turned into a single quote, which is not the character that triggers the acute accent in the Euro Latin keyboard. See, my grave works perfectly. Cannot type this. So I don't know why. So I'm like stuck now, unable to type this because, yeah. Okay, let me file options. So proofing, autocorrect options. Where is it? Auto format? But it wasn't between letters. But even it's still doing it. What do you mean between letters? No, it doesn't work between letters. How are you even? How are you ever? Yeah, I just unchecked that. That's so annoying. So, autocorrect options, straight quotes. See, straight quotes with smart quotes. I did that. I hit OK. And it's still doing it. I've never had this problem before. It's incredibly frustrating. I guess I can't use Word anymore. I'm going to have to open this up in OpenOffice or LibreOffice. It's incredibly dumb. What? What do you mean? What? Okay. Okay, I'll try it again. Why? Options, proofing. Why do you have to do that? Why do I have to disable that twice? Hey, where are you? Where's the what? What is going on? Okay. Finally. Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is I have to mark these this way, right? And you're like, okay, how do you need to have multiple hats there? No, I don't need to, because we can pull a Hungarian. And there should be a way. I'll just look this up to make sure. This one, okay, I have to type that. Yeah. So we can just do, Hungarian does this to allow umlauts with long vowels because they mark long vowels with the uh, with accent marks, right? But since we have both an acute and a grave, we can use it for tone as well. So that's still an option. We don't have to worry about that. Now it's a little bit easier with a Y because we can just do that and we've got it. But we might need umlauts anyway when we get to the other languages if I ever develop those. So, um, thinking about this, well, I mean, sometimes you have font issues. I will just always use Unicode compliant fonts in all of my materials. So we've got that. Our main question is, what are we going to do about this long vowel distinction that happens in dawn? And there are a couple of solutions here. One is we can just double things. Right? And there's also we need to mark this. We could go with just, let me see. If we do ash, if we make the ash like that, then can we do, nope. Ah, we have a double grave. We have a double grave, but we do not have a double acute. Really? I mean, worst comes to worst, I could make a custom keyboard and make that happen. Because it would be trivially easy for me to fork this and just say this becomes double acute A, right? Wouldn't be a big deal. It is kind of annoying that if other people want to use a language that they'd have to download a new keyboard from me, right? It's helpful if it comes in like a standard keyboard that people can download. Um, I can't really use Ash either. How do you do that? That's, this is also weird. The thing is I can't easily type that either. Yeah, I mean, but I don't want to switch keyboards to type things. Now, hold on. Let me check my rules quickly. Let me check the rules quickly. So we get this. So I need to look at my tonogenesis rules. Where's tonogenesis? Okay. So voiceless vowels become high, stressed vowels become low. Since this only ever occurs as a long vowel, then it is only ever going to be stressed and not voiceless. So we should still be in the clear if we do it that way. Right? We should still, since this is available, we can just go with that. This is trickier. And let me just take a quick, a resource I would really love to have. If someone could make it. So we see double A, O. That's a weird one to use. The breathe A. Just looking here, see this. Um, I'm sorry, what? It's Fursi? Farsi? 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 That's how that's pronounced? That modern Farsi must have lost that because I've never heard that pronounced in my life. Does anybody know like modern Iranian and know like is it was this lost and it's just an ah now, or is it actually still pronounced Farsi? Farsi. For I can't even pronounce it correctly. Farsi. Brazilian Brazilian Portuguese, of course, has weird vowels. Ova, ova. Choi, jog, o, ova, 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 ova. Okay, so another thing when I really try to avoid. Hi, King Pengyu was taken. What? King Pengyu, right? What? Message retracted. Why message retracted? So we can just go with digraphs here. I really don't like using digraphs, but they're a potential option here. And that shouldn't cause a problem, but I would rather not do that. Let's do a quick test and see if this is actually something we have to represent with our current stuff. Because so well, okay, but it would be value. Why is that? What? Why is that? Oh. Yeah. Technically, but how would we get that? Tehrani has all, but not or ah. That's weird. Okay, so Tehrani Farsi has all. Okay, that's something new I learned. So I don't know if I'll ever pronounce that way because that all sound is kind of difficult for me. Feel like I'm pronouncing the feel like it's not this probably because of the way English is. I associate this sound with this sound. Maybe we can just merge those. Hmm. Um. Yeah. Something I would love to see, maybe it exists, would be a database where you can look up an IPA character and see how it's represented in many different natural languages. Or you can look up a letter and see what sounds it represents. If someone knows of something like that, let me know, but I've not encountered it before. Because like just like searching through Wikipedia is not the easiest thing, and I feel I probably miss things. So the thing is, most of these romanizations. Let's look at the system for Neapolitan. Why is it written that way? So it's not distinctive in Neapolitan. It's not distinctive in Swedish. That's not a general American pronunciation. We do not have that in general American. We don't have this sound in American English. Thought, 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 thought. It's is there a reason why we wanted to keep this here? Okay. Okay. We can actually absolutely get this naturally. What do you how is okay. I can't. Okay. Did we have a situation? Okay. I see what the reason we were wanting to keep that is that it was a distinction between dawn and dusk. Dusk dawn kept all the low vowels and dusk lost those, neutralized them to ah. Um, so let's see. What can we add? What can we put on? So we have some options of like we have O, we've got O's and Ah's are the best. We can write it as ow or ow or that's I don't we can write it as or or like a lot of these can be mistaken. But the thing is I need to put tone marks on it. If we make this one the O, this one, what can it be? Or does that even happen? Do we ever get this? Yeah, so right. We have a phonemic distinction between these two. So we have to. Why is that not getting a tone? Did I mess something up? It's not in my vowels is why. There. It should have low tone. So our options here are some sort of modification of an O or some kind of modification of an ah. Can we have a sequence of AO or OA? Okay. What if we have one of them stressed? Oh, you can get U that way? U. Is that theoretically possible? No, that shouldn't happen because of the way schwa reduction works. V. It's, yeah. So I think we're safe on that. It doesn't actually happen. Or unless, no, that T would stay. So this is theoretical only if we had a form that doesn't exist in the proto. So we're safe with that. If we need this, we need to represent this, we can. We can have an O umlaut. It's not a problem. We got war, war and wall are distinctive. I really struggle with that distinction. So I'm wondering if I should just kill it. Aw, 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 aw. This Jerry, this is Lexergy. It's a sound change applier. So all you do is you plug in your proto language words. You've defined all of your features, all your symbols, and all of your rules, and it will transform it into whatever modern version of your language is. I think, again, I'm not usually one to do this. However, Okay, so okay. I know that this would not actually happen, but I'm just testing it anyway. Why am I? Yeah. Keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay. I do not think that I can get two of the same vowel in hiatus in this language. I think that the rules prevent that. So, this ends up being my last problem. If we go with that, we can do this as Y, and then this as umlaut W, and then we're good, right? Yeah. And that establishes umlauts as our way of marking front roundness, frontedness, fronting a vowel, right? And then the only thing is, this is a round vowel. There is no. I don't want to have more than one hat. I don't have any other vowel digraphs. So having another vowel digraph, adding just one vowel digraph is going to be weird. So I'm going to make an executive decision. This will still exist in, I think, in the day dialect. We can consider whether to merge it there too. But I'm going to make an executive decision that this actually, and we'll just do it right here. This distinction does not exist anymore. Okay, so export that. And I'll go ahead and save that. And there we go. Again, this may still exist in some dialect. In fact, let me pull up Sylvan notes. If I look at, I think Knight still has it. I will keep it for Knight because I have other options for romanizing in Knight. I can. It does not exist in Day, so it could be exclusive to Night, and then I'll figure something out for that. It's also always long in Night, which makes things. I don't know if that makes it easier or harder. If there's no long. I mean, it could. You could say that, but if we have it that, people are kind of going to think that this is the long ah. We have another issue. So now, length representation. We can't use macrons. We have to do doubling. So EE is good. Now, do I want to always be doubling this? That seems a little bit weird. And that's another thing is like I have a marking for this that is also long. We can have ooh. And that would make this OO, which is that's okay. It's just confusing for English speakers. So that's going to require a custom keyboard. I can't do. Yeah, I don't have the open O in this keyboard at all. No, I was thinking about that. So, is there any way that I can ever end up having owl? Even owl. It's by Vowel. This is possible. How would I get that? Okay. So we can have a sequence of owl. It's very weird. No, so it's not about MS Word. It's about, can I type the thing? I want to be able to type the thing. And it's really hard to type if you end up with multiple diacritics or something like that. So we would end up, that word, if we used a diacritic, it would be written like that, right? It would be ba. Right keyboard. Ba. Bow. Or bow, which is not ideal. Bow. I think this is fine. The existence of a W and a double O can help people to understand that this is different from English. I can also, this is always going to be long, so I could just like not do that. The issue is like, if I say, oh, it's always long, I'm just gonna type it once, then people might not understand that these are always long. When I have these doubled ones for these. Okay, Sanskrit does that. A and O are always long, but it just types them regular. Yeah. And then like other solutions, like if I did a digraphed O, people are going to pronounce that ooh. People are going to pronounce. We're going to assume that it's this O or the diphthong O. Yeah. Okay, I think that's probably. It also matches up with what's going on in dusk. The other thing I was thinking about was this, since this length distinction is only occurring in a limited situation, right? Um, this length distinction is only showing up in a vowel final word where that vowel is stressed. Okay. So another thing that we could do potentially is we could say, oh, no, we don't have, we like all kinds of vowels are like this, actually. We could say, oh, this collapses. And now, let's see, let's see, can I find that minimal pair that I had? This is a merger. I had a minimal pair somewhere in here. Oh, right here. So if we have chi, and then like chi, uh, nope, that's not it. Chi, I think if we put an I, can I type? Right. So we can hit a minimal pair of chi, and chi, right? Well, that's like, it's a very limited situation where you end up with that. What if we say, oh, this we have this tendency for final stressed vowels to be long. What if that's just what happens? So what if what if by analogy this gets lengthened too, right? And then that could just be a cool thing that this language does. Is like final stressed vowels are always long, and then you would see by the grave accent that this is stressed because the a stressed vowel at the end of the word is always going to have a grave accent because it's always going to be low tone, right? So just like in this language, it's always going to be high tone at the end, right? And then that can contribute to the sound of this language. That's an idea. Well, let's actually. So And actually, I forgot. There is a theoretical way to get, because this is possible to get somehow. It's like theoretically possible to get. Yeah, it's possible. Let me trying to figure out. Yeah, I don't think I can actually. Maybe if I got. That's weird. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be possible. I need to figure out my syllable rules. What happens if I have that? What happens in this situation? Oh, this should just become ba. Okay. Bavo is. Yeah, I think Bavo is. Oh. Oh, yeah, my daughters are probably watching they're watching K-pop Demon 100 songs upstairs, and sometimes the TV is a little loud. I need to figure out a way to block sound from upstairs because they need to be entertained. Okay. Okay. How about we have a quick vote, quick up or down YouTube vote on these two suggestions? How do we do a vote? Yeah, well, it could be a problem if it's enough to get me a copyright strike. How do I do a poll? Okay, there we go. Start a poll. Okay. This is an advisory poll. I may not go with either of these, but I'm going to choose the two. We'll just go with a three-way vote, and we can do a runoff if people. Um, here. Actually, let's make this two different questions. Okay. So first off, yes and no. Okay. Okay. So to understand those options, you can choose to keep the vowels distinct, or we can just say all stressed final vowels become long, and that renders it an allophonic distinction. Okay. Um, that way, either one of those options. So if that means that I would have to, you know, okay. Um, let's see how many people. There's still some more people here. Seems very. Hmm. Okay, let's see how many people have voted here. We have one more vote out. Give you another minute or so to see if that other vote comes in. But that will determine. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. That's how it ended up. Like somebody just didn't get to voting. So in that case, we do not need to worry about it. And then we won't, that will remain like a moot point until we come back and get to and I'm able to get this oo, or I was, and this oo, and this ah. And that should be all I need. Okay, I think we've solved it. So I'm just going to add this rule at the very end. Um, is this how you? Oh, at the end of a word. And where was our minimal pair? This distinction disappears, which is this is so this means we kind of had this anyway, but this like strengthens this. Now there's a certain rhythmic quality to dawn that won't exist in dusk, where you have this in dusk, and you have is it's a little bit quicker, but in dawn, so in dusk you always have final stress, but in dawn when you hit a final stress word, TV, tovo, havu, 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 it'll have that sort of a thing to it if you pronounce it correctly, which I don't know if people will, but let's export that. And that is the final version, hopefully, of the dawn ones. Okay. All right. So we are at time. I was really, really hoping to go coin some keywords today. So let me just at the end here, I want to lay out what my plan is for next week. Because we really need a few things, and we can for going into Luxembourg, I kind of needs this stuff. Okay, so Well, then coin a name for each of the dialects. Coin a term for dialect. So then this is going to be a compromise form. This is going to be a compromise form. So these are going to be like loan words from the Koine that we're not fully developing. Yeah. Your blue sky is only active during Luxembourg. I'm going to be doing some shorts. We got a plan. I need to get that video sorted. Um, but we really need to have a name. Let me just explain what I mean. So obviously, we need a name for Sylvan as an overall like language, right? It's like we need a name for definitely dawn and dusk, and I have some ideas for that. But it requires coining some words. So we'll go do that on stream next week, and then this last one. So if you think of very closely related um, varieties, we'll say, or languoids, I think is a term people use, just very closely related varieties, where it's fuzzy whether something is a language is a or a dialect, which I think is going to be the case here, right? I think let me just make sure. Okay. Um, yes, I know. So if you have very closely related varieties, which I think is going to be the case here, very often you will get a term that is that is like local to that like language group that is cool. So if you go Indic languages, you get Prakrit. That that is a term that, as I understand it, covers all descendants of Sanskrit, right? And then if you have Chinese languages, you have the term Fangyan. Yeah, that should be it. Which is literally sort of like the location. Fang is like a location, an area, or place. So the idea here is, I think we should have one of these for Sylvan because we have these four dialects, and these are just representative of there could be many dialects spoken throughout Faerie, and these are just the ones of the primary four courts. So it would be cool. Yeah. Okay. So Sanskrit versus Prakrit is, yes, Sanskrit was already fragmented. Well, that's kind of true of any language. Um, if you talk about Fangyan, I mean, most of them are descendants of Middle Chinese, but like there's a weird offshoot. I forget which one it is, but there is one weird offshoot that seems to have branched off before Middle Chinese. Could be a descendant of Old Chinese instead. Um, but like it's still in the Chinese family. They're all descended from old Chinese ultimately, right? And and the you know Sanskrit, yeah. Well, Prakrit, maybe they're descendants of Sanskrit. Maybe they're just descendants of like the immediate predecessor of Sanskrit, right? Um, but the main idea that I want to get is I want a term instead of just continuing to call these dialects or switching to like a like a vague term like variety or like the newer term languoid. I want to say um I want to have a native term that has that ambiguity built into it, like Fangyan does, like Prakrit does, where it's like, okay, it is one of this related group of language varieties. I think that would be cool. So we will go ahead. We will be making that word as well. The priority is getting the names done. Um, but if we have like some compromise term that means one of one of these one of the many fairy varieties, then I think it would be interesting. And my folders are ridiculous. Okay. I'll just do that. Somebody remind me on Discord to get the get PDFs out this week because we have our romanization done. I'm happy that we got to get the the consonants sorted out for all four, but we'll have to like figure out what happens for the vowels for the other languages if we ever revisit that. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It's been fun. And let's come back next week and work on some names. Be ready to generate a bunch of roots and pick out like why is this not okay? There we go. There. The chat's back on screen for a second. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great weekend. I got to get my daughters out of here so that they don't drive their mother crazy. And with that, I'm going to say happy conlaying.